What's up, YouTube? I'm back. It's Jay. I haven't done a video in a couple of months. Haven't really been into it, but kind of got that old itch again after getting back on here and kind of watching some videos and commenting on a few videos and everything like that. And kind of looked at some of my old videos and decided, hey, well, this is what you used to do, so I'm back. Um, I just wanted to share. Was gonna be try to do a quick update of some movies that I've collected over the past few months that I've been MIA on YouTube. So let's get right into it. First, I have From Hell with Johnny Depp, Helen Graham, directed by the Hughes brothers. Um, I really enjoy this movie. It's about Jack the Ripper. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you checking this movie out. Um, it's funny that this was like the last movie that they did for a few years before they came back with the Book of Eli. Um, so I said it's a really cool take on the Jack the Ripper story from him. Next up it is You Good Men, Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, and Jack Nicholson, probably best known for the courtroom scene where you can't handle the truth. You know, that whole thing. But it actually is a pretty good movie about what goes on in the military, especially with who gives orders to do this, that, and the other. Um, but it's a good courtroom drama too. So, You Good Men. Next up is a collection of movies from one of my favorite action guys, and that is the original, the real Conan with Arnell. Arnold. um, it's a it's both movies. It's Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. Two movies for the price of one. I mean, I really like the Barbarian. It's funny. I like the Barbarian story, but I like the action and all the craziness that goes along with Conan the Destroyer. I mean, if you got a movie where you have Arnold Schwarzenegger, Grace Jones, and Wilt Chamberlain in, you what more do you want, right? So like I say, anybody who's never seen the original movies, don't waste your time with the remake that came out last year with Jason Momoa or whatever the heck his name is. That guy. Stick with the true Conan. Here he is. Check him out. Next up is a movie that I really like because I'm a fan. Not only am I a fan of this actor, but also a fan of the director and a fan of the movie that this is based on, and that is Oliver Stone's The Doors, starring Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison. I mean, back at this time, I know now Val Kilmer is kind of looked at as being fat and out of shape, you know. But there was and also doing a lot of bad movies recently. But there was a time when Val Kilmer, I think, should have been nominated for two movies. Two. This being one, and the other for Tombstone is Doc Holliday. Two of his best performances ever. I don't care what anybody say. The man was really good in both. He should have got some kind of recognition for both. I don't know why he didn't, but he didn't. But to me, he has some Oscar quality performances not only in this movie but also in Tombstone. I mean, this also has a really good cast to it. I mean, not only do you have Val Kilmer, but you had Meg Ryan when she was actually a good actress and in good movies, but you also had Kevin Dillon, aka Johnny Drama, from Entourage. You had Kyle MacLachlan, Frank Wallery, Michael Madsen, even Billy Idol is in this movie, and even I believe the original surviving members of the Doors is actually in the movie. I think throughout. It's been a while since I watched it, but I think they're in the movie also. But if you haven't seen this movie and you like biopics, I highly recommend you watching The Doors with Val Kilmer, who did a great performance in it. Next up is a movie that I really enjoyed, and I have to take a lot of kudos to the director for making a movie, and also for the studio to allow this movie to be made the way it was made, especially with the way movies are made now. And I'm talking about the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling. I mean, I was never really a big Ryan Gosling fan before watching this movie, but after watching this movie, I became a Ryan Gosling fan, and I really like movies like this. So, for anyone who hasn't seen it, for anyone who doesn't like it, I would like for you to tell me why you don't like it. I mean, so what if the guy don't talk a lot? Who cares? So what if it's not a lot of action in the movie, but the action that's in the movie is good? It's almost like a true to life type story or whatever. Just certain situations don't work out the way you plan and everything like that, and that's kind of how this movie is. So for anyone who doesn't like it, I would like you to comment, and tell me why you don't like the movie. But I like the movie for what it is. Plus, it has a really good cast. I mean, I don't Ryan Gosling, he gives a good performance, but also you have Carey Mulligan, Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad fame, Christina Hendricks of Mad Men fame, and Ron Perlman of Sons of Anarchy fame, plus numerous movies that he's been in also. And then Albert Brooks, who gives to me a really good performance. I mean, I was surprised at his performances. Albert Brooks is always, he's always kind of a funny guy in certain movies, or he does comedic stuff. But in this, he really gives a good performance as a, kind of a gangster type and everything. So there's Drive. Um, Next up is another favorite of mine, and I have to get the original versions of this movie, but I really enjoyed the American version of this, and I'm talking about Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, starring Danny Craig and Rooney Mara, directed by David Fincher. I mean, this is one of the probably the better movies I've seen in recent years, and like I say, I want to get the Swedish versions. I saw on Amazon.com where there's a triple pack of all three movies, and I'm thinking about getting that at some point. Just haven't got around to it, but I will be doing it at some point. And I really hope they make the the American sequels to this too, because I think Fincher did a really good job with this movie. And it's like I say, Rooney Mara, she went up a couple of notches in my book after this movie, because the last thing I had saw her in was the remake. Well, excuse me, the atrocity that Nightmare on Elm Street remake was, and I did not like her in that movie, and I was like, "Who the hell is this chick? She's no Nancy." So, but she really showed me something different with her performance in this movie. And so, if you haven't seen it or anything, I highly recommend you watching this too. All right, moving on. Now, I had already owned the first of this series, but I wanted the sequel, and I didn't really want to spend as much as I didn't want to spend all as much as the sequel cost by itself. So I went ahead and got all the series together, and I'm talking about Tremors and the Tremors series. It's the attack pack where it's all four films. I really, like I said, I really got it because of the second movie, and because I already owned the first one, but I got it mainly because of the second. Plus, I mean, it's four movies for the price of one. Who can really pass that up? I've seen the third one, Back to Perfection. I mean, it has its moments. There's a couple of scenes in it that is kind of funny or whatever, and kind of cool. But other than that, I really didn't care for it. But I never watched the straight to TV version of the fourth movie, Legend Begins, which is a prequel to the whole series with and everything. I mean, it didn't really need that. I think it should have ended after the third one, but oh well. They gotta keep trying to make money on top of money, so um, they made the fourth one. I probably never watch it, but I'm a real big fan of the Tremors movies, especially the first two. And like I said, that's mainly where I got this edition whereas I say all four movies in one and everything. So that's that. Tremors. Moving on. Um, I know the fourth one just came out here recently, and I'm talking about the fourth one with the original cast, I should say, and I'm talking about the original American Pie. I haven't seen the American Reunion yet, but probably will at some point. Just haven't got around to it. But I remember when this movie came out in 1999. I went to the theater and saw it, and I laughed at this movie, and I really liked it. Now I know this says that this is the unrated version that you couldn't see in theaters. I mean, I haven't heard anything about this edition. I still haven't watched it yet. I've had it for a few months now, and I still haven't watched it. So, if anyone who has seen this version, tell me what's different between the theatrical version and the unrated version. Like, what was, or maybe I'll just watch it, when I have some time, and I can find out exactly what's, different about the two versions. But American Pie, really great movie, great comedy. And next up is another collection of movies that I got. That is all of the Resident Evil. I know this is the trilogy, where it's um, Resident Evil Apocalypse, Resident Evil Extinction. That's the first three. But then also I have Resident Evil Afterlife, the fourth one, and everything. I mean, I really like these movies. I mean, the games. I mean, I was a big fan of the original game. Um, for some reason, I stopped playing the games, and then I tried to get back into playing the games with Resident Evil 5, and it just was totally different than what I remembered. So I really didn't care for the game. I know they're coming out with a part 6, I think, and then the new Resident Evil movie, I think, comes out later this year, which I'm definitely going to be checking that out since you have a couple of the original characters coming back in this one, which I think is pretty cool. But with these, like I said, I'm a real big fan of this series, and I like the movies for what they are. I mean, I understand, I get them for what they are, and don't really, I don't like the fact that they created the Alice character. I really didn't like that, but the fact that Jill Valentine was a second character in the second movie, even though Jill was the original, star of the game kind of thing. But I mean, we got Paul W.S. Anderson making the movies. He's coming up with his own ideas of it. He can do what he wants. But the movies, I haven't been really disappointed with any of the movies so far. I mean, yeah, Extinction, I really didn't like to a degree because of how they got rid of certain characters. But for the most part, the movies are pretty good. And I really enjoy Afterlife a lot better than I thought I would, too. I mean, Ali Larter, she's just great and everything. I watch anything with her, and it's sad that she's not coming back for the next one. But I mean, maybe she'll be in Resident Evil 6, movie 6. When it comes out, you never know. But anyway, it's the Resident Evil movies. And next up is a favorite of mine from my childhood, and that is Christine. John Carpenter directed a Stephen King story, which I think is pretty damn good. Real big fan of Christine. I love the car, and I love the music in this movie, especially the not Richard Pryor, but Richard Pryor. The what's his name? Little Richard song. Keep it knocking, but you can't come in. Won't you come back tomorrow and try it again? For some reason, I like when that song plays when the guys are trying to break into the car and everything. I mean, Keith Gordon, I mean, he does a great job. Alexandra Paul, John Stockwell, Harry Dean Stanton, who seems to been his man's been around forever, but great performances. Even though, and one thing too I noticed about this movie, there's one guy in this movie. He's kind of like the school bully or whatever. He looks like a young John Travolta in this movie, and I wonder if that's what he was going for, because he looks like Travolta when he was on Welcome Back, Carter. If anybody who's seen this movie knows exactly what the guy I'm talking about. I wonder if there was like a dig at maybe Travolta or something. I don't know, but I've always noticed that guy, he looks like Vini by Marino, and Welcome Back Carter, John Travolta, Welcome Back Carter. But Christine, really good movie. And then next up is the director's cut of Hostel. I mean, I still haven't. I had this movie for a while too, and I haven't watched it yet. I don't know why. I mean, I saw the theatrical version and everything, but I never really. I haven't watched the director's cut, so I don't know what exactly is different with this than the what's so different about it. The sequel was decent. I mean, I didn't like the way it ended and stuff like that, but the sequel was decent. And part three, I have not even watched or kind of don't even want to watch since Eli Roth is not even attached to it as far as I know, and I don't understand why they made another one without him. I don't understand why, but whatever. But the original Hostel is pretty damn disturbing, but it's a good movie too. Moving right along, another collection of movies that I bought. Now, I mainly bought this collection for Extreme Prejudice and Universal Soldier. It just so happened Bangkok Dangerous and The Fourth Angel was with it, but I wanted Extreme Prejudice and Universal Soldier, so I had to get the other two with it. Extreme Prejudice is a great shoot 'em up movie. I mean, one of the best. I mean, directed by Walter Hill. The guy does some great stuff. I felt like he was following in Sam Peckinpah's footsteps with this movie. Felt like something that Sam Peckinpah would have made probably, back in the day or whatever. But Walter Hill picks up, what Peckinpah's, started. Walter Hill picked up with different movies and everything, with shootouts and stuff like that. And I really, really, really enjoyed Street Prejudice. But I always noticed something. I just noticed kind of watching this, or looking at this picture of Nick Nolte here, that he kind of looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know, maybe because I've been watching wrestling a lot more lately. That's probably why I haven't been doing videos. But I've been watching wrestling a lot more lately. But I noticed that for some reason, Nick Nolte looked like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Am I the only one that sees this? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But anyway, Universal Soldier, Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, one of my favorite movies since I was a kid or whatever. Bangkok Dangerous, kind of never really even cared about this movie. I heard it was bad, but like I said, I own it. I never watched it. Anybody who's seen it, let me know if I should watch it or not. Fourth Angel, I mean, it has a pretty decent cast with Jeremy Irons, Forrest Whitaker, Jason Presley, but who cares? Jeremy Irons and Forrest Whitaker probably make up for it. Had never heard of Fourth Angel, don't even know what it's really about. I did read a little synopsis for it on the back here, but I doubt I ever really watched this movie. But like I say, I got this primarily for Extreme Prejudice and Universal Soldier. So, moving on, another favorite of mine is Independence Day. I mean, yeah, it is a sci-fi disaster type movie, but it has a really good cast with Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Judah Hirsch, Randy Quaid. I mean, the list goes on and on. Really good actors in this movie. Um, I mean, I really enjoy this movie. I watch it every so often and everything like that. But Independence Day. And another one that I know a lot of people really don't like, but I might be one of the few people who do like this movie, and that is Hulk. Not the Incredible Hulk, but just Hulk, the one with Eric Banner and Nick Nolte, Jennifer Connelly, and Sam Elliott. I mean, yeah, Ang Lee, he directed it, and he tried to make it like it was more than what it was or whatever. But I enjoy this movie. It's just something about this movie I really enjoyed. The only thing I don't like is the fact that they made David Banner, Nick Nolte's character, David Banner, the father, and made Bruce Banner the son. Because correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who out there who know this, better than I do. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I always thought that Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner, who is what he goes by now, but I always thought that he was David Bruce Banner that he was that one character. I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know, but I mean, you guys can let me know. But I always like because besides I like David Banner better than Bruce Banner, but that's just me. I have my reasons for that, but I don't really want to get too in depth about it now. But like I said, Incredible Hulk, oh, not Incredible Hulk, but just regular Hulk, Hulk smash. But I am a fan of this movie. Guilty pleasure, I guess, but I'm a fan of it. Moving right along is a movie that I really like, and that's To Live and Die in L.A. with William Peterson, William Defoe. I mean, just a really good cop drama. It's kind of one of those movies that I don't know, it's very interesting. For anyone who's never seen William Peterson outside of CSI, and I've only seen him in movies, certain movies, whatever. I'm talking about like newer stuff, nothing. If you ever seen him back in the 80s or whatever, you definitely have to check him out in this movie. Especially William Defoe, young William Defoe in this movie. He kind of crazy, but it's something I noticed too about William Defoe when he was younger. Am I the only one who thinks that he looked a hell of a lot like David Bowie? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think he did. William Friedman, he directed this, who also has a new movie coming out, Killer Joe, which I want to see. But I really like To Live and Die in L.A. Really good movie. Very good. Live and Die in L.A. Then another favorite of mine is Long Kiss Goodnight. Gina Davis, Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, I know this movie did bad back in the day. Rennie Harlan, sorry, directed it, and it was written by Shane Black. I mean, just a really good action movie. Sam Jackson provides some comic relief, but the action scenes in this movie is great. Just a really great movie. So anyone who's never seen this movie, I highly recommend you check it out, watch it. Long Kiss Goodnight. Then a movie that I finally got around to seeing not too long ago, and I just purchased it yesterday. Just bought it yesterday, and that is Streets of Fire. With it was directed by Walter Hill. Another one of the Walter Hill movies. I mean, it kind of flies on the radar. I mean, you had a young Diane Lane. You had Rick Moranis of all people in this. William Defoe is in this. Bill Paxton is in this. I mean, anyone who has never seen this movie should definitely check it out. I mean, it's a cool movie. I mean, I know it did terrible back in the day, but I don't know, just something about this movie I really like, and I watched it a few times now, and I don't understand why it did bad back in 19. What year did this come out? It came out in 19. Where's the year? I think it was 84, 85, somewhere around that time. I think it was 84 or 85 it came out, but I have no idea why this movie did bad. But then again, a lot of really good movies do bad, and then people years later finally catch up and like, oh, it was a great movie, but didn't like it when it first came out. I don't get it. Moving right along. Even though it kind of hurts the fact that I own this movie because I'm such a fan of what John Carpenter did with his movie, but I own the Thing 2011 version. The Thing. Yeah, I own it. I mean, it's a lot better than I thought it was gonna be, even though it is a remake of John Carpenter's movie. But they don't call it. They say it's a prequel, but it's a remake. It really is. Try to bridge the gap between this movie and Carpenter's movie, which is actually pretty cool. That end credits of this movie is probably the best part of the movie because of the fact that if you watch it and then if you watch how this movie ends and then if you start John Carpenter's thing, it kind of flows seamlessly in a way, even though there are a few changes between this and that. But if you kind of look past those flaws or whatever, it's a seamless transition in a way. So I give them credit for that. My biggest problem with this movie was the fact that the CGI. You trying to tell me 1982, 30 years ago, practical effects still better? Yep, practical effects are better. And this movie and John Carpenter's movie prove it. So anybody who out there say CGI is great, watch John Carpenter's The Thing with the special effects done by Rob Bottin, and then you watch this movie, and then you tell me which one is better. Okay? I mean, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is I just love her. I really do. She's great, and it was interesting to see a woman in this kind of story, but it didn't really need to be. But I understand the way things are now, and I don't want to sound insensitive to anybody or whatever, but of course there was going to be a woman in this version. All right, there was no if and buts about it. I knew it was going to be, but I mean the cast is decent and everything, but it's not John Carpenter's The Thing. It really not. Like I say it's good. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's not. And I'm a diehard fan of Carpenter's movie. It's not terrible, but this doesn't hold a candle to what Carpenter, Kurt Russell, and those guys did in '82. Doesn't hold a candle to it. So, but I own it. Um, I can't remember if I did these or not. Some of them I can't really remember if I did, and I know I was looking through my videos, but I can't remember if I actually did some of these already. But anyway, here's some Blu-rays that I bought also. Besides the thing was a Blu-ray also. It was Blu-ray DVD combo. But here's strictly some Blu-rays that I picked up. Like I said, I can't remember if I did these or not. But anyway, if I did, I did. It'd just be another video that I haven't in. But Last Exorcism. I don't know, for some reason I really like this movie. I mean, I haven't watched it since the first time I watched it. Excuse me. Actually, that's probably why I sound kind of hoarse. Um, I said I can't remember if I. Yeah, I haven't watched it since I watched it that the one time that I watched it. So maybe I have to watch it again to see how I really feel about it. But I thought Ashley Bell, who plays the girl in the movie, that's Ashley Bell there. That's her there. Um, she does a great job in this movie, just with the facial expressions and all the physical stuff that she does in this movie. She does a really good job in it. But the guy who plays the priest, that doesn't say, but Reverend. Well, his character name is Reverend Cotton Marcus, but can't remember what his real name is. All I remember him from is the Saved by the Bell college years. He played the professor on that. And for some reason, that's all I kept seeing was him as the professor on Saved by the Bell the college years. So I think that's another reason why I like this movie. It's because I don't know, I just get it, I guess. I get it. I really don't like found footage style movies. I'm really not a fan of that. And that's what this is. But it's just something about Last House, Last Exorcism that I like. I just really enjoy it. But I know a lot of people don't, but I did. So I guess that's why I own it. Now here's another childhood favorite of mine, and that is Ghostbusters on Blu Ray. I was surprised that I never owned this movie. I never owned it on VHS and never owned it on DVD, but I got the Blu Ray of it. I mean, there's nothing really that I can say about this movie that hasn't been said already, except for the fact that if you watch Streets of Fire and then you watch this, you see Rick Moranis as two different guys. But um, other than that, there's nothing really else that I can really say about Ghostbusters except for what the hell is going on with Ghostbusters 3. Is it gonna get made? Is it not gonna get made? Who's gonna be in it? What's the story about? Ghostbusters 3. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But anyway, Ghostbusters. There's something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Anyway, um, I know I did a review on this already, but it's part of the Blu Ray collection. That is Manhunter, starring William Peterson. To me, Manhunter is better than Red Dragon. I kind of go in depth on that in my review of this movie. So if you want to hear more about that, just look at that video, my Manhunter review, and you'll hear me talk about the differences between Manhunter and Red Dragon. I mean, this one has a really good cast with William Peterson, Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter, Dennis Farina, Stephen Lang, and Tom Noonan as the Tooth Fairy. And another thing too, what's up with this whole Hannibal TV series? Why? And it's done by NBC. See how long that lasts. I'll give it 6 episodes. I'm marking it. Remember, you heard it first. If it only goes 6 episodes, no more you heard that. But Manhunter, real good movie. Next up is another 90s action movie. Speed, Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, Jeff Daniels, and the man Dennis Hopper. I watched this a few weeks ago. Well, actually last month. That's when I watched it. It's just a good movie. It really is. It's smart. It's not like it's not like how these new action. I could. If this movie was made now, I don't think it would be as good from when it was then. I just think they probably would screw it up if they did make this movie now. But it was made at the right time in the '90s, and I mean, it's a bomb on a bus. Great movie. Keanu Reeves probably does one of his better acting jobs here. Dennis Hopper is always great. Sandra Bullock is good as as someone who's kind of thrown into a bad situation, and she does the best with it. You know, how many people in real life can say that, if they was in that situation, they would, be able to keep their calm the way she did, as, taking over driving a bus of all things, which is something that bus drivers have to go to school for. She just happened to get behind the wheel and, hey, I can drive this bus, and she does a good job of it. But I really like Speed. Funny enough, another Keanu Reeves movie, The Matrix. The first one, I really, really like the first one. Second one's not too bad. The third one they could have left, on the cutting edge for somewhere, but they could have left that somewhere. But the first one, Keanu, Lawrence, Carrie-Anne Moss, Hugo Weaving. Come on. First one's really good. Real good movie. And I have it on Blu Ray and that. Then another kind of really never hear too much about this movie anymore. Well, since it came out, so I don't know exactly what the consensus is. Do people like it? Do people not like it? And I'm talking about Green Zone. I mean, I like Green Zone. Thought it was a good movie. Matt Damon, Amy Ryan, Greg Kinnear, Brendan Gleeson, Jason Isaacs is in it. I mean, just a good one. I don't know, for some reason I like movies like this for some reason. So I guess that's why I liked it. And it just, I don't know, it's just a good movie. I need to watch it again soon. But if you haven't seen it, you guys should check it out. If you have not seen this movie, I suggest you check it out. And then last but not least, Unstoppable. Denzel Washington, Chris Pine, Rosario Dawson. I mean, it's basically Runaway Train, but it's with Denzel and Chris Pine. I mean, I like this movie. Tony Scott directed it. Um, that's interesting. I say Mimi Rogers is a producer. I don't know if it's the same the actress Mimi Rogers. I wonder if she's if it's the same one. Uh, I might have to look that up and see. But I mean, I don't know. I like this movie. I really do. I think Denzel here lately has kind of turned into the guy that's coaching up young actors. If you think about it, because he coached up um, Mila Kunis and Booker Eli. He coaches up Chris Pine in this Unstoppable, and then most recently he coached up um, Ryan Reynolds in Safe House. But before that, he coached up Ethan Hawke in Training Day. Is that what Denzel is turning to? He's the one that coaches up younger actors to make them better. Hmm. It's interesting. That's just my thought on that. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but maybe I'm right. I don't know. Um, actually felt good doing this video. Hopefully I'll be doing more videos soon, and I'll be actually watching more you guys' videos, and I think I've actually got new followers, which is kind of subscribers, or whatever, which is kind of funny. I haven't done a video in a couple of months, but I've got new subscribers on my channel, which I enjoy, and I hope you guys like my videos. You like what you see, you like what I do, like what I talk about. Or if you don't like what I talk about, but you come and watch what I have to say, I really appreciate that. I'm gonna try to get more into watching you guys' videos, but also sorry, this video is kind of going a little bit too long. But it feels good to get back into the flow of things and talking about movies again because I love movies, and that's never gonna change. And even if I don't, get on here every day or whatever and upload videos and talk about stuff, but I'm never gonna stop watching movies, and that's never gonna change. So like I say, feels good to be back. Hope you guys rate, comment, subscribe, tell other people about my channel and whatever. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm getting into watching more of you guys' videos and commenting on you guys' stuff also. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Peace.